That's why it's the self-improvement trap. Self. You will never get healing if you're not open to intimacy and connection.
Hey guys, welcome to Simply Complicated. I'm Sadie Such, and today,
Blair Reynolds.
Blair Reynolds is here talking about self-improvement trap.
Yes, thank you for having me on. This is actually quite a pleasure and a privilege, so I'm grateful to be here. Why should you listen to me and why am I here? Basically, I've been doing consulting for 15 years. I started in business consulting, and then I went into life consulting. I've been learning about therapy ever since I was 9 or 10 because my mom was a therapist and I have a psychology background. But the real reason you should listen to me is I have made every mistake you can possibly mistake in the emotional health world. But hopefully I've learned a couple things from them, and that's what I'm trying to bring to people today.
Thank you for being here to share the things that you learned. You have a book that you wrote.
Oh, yeah.
About self-improvement and how it's a trap.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear, why did you write a book called The Self-Improvement Trap? What is the issue that you see with all of these podcasts, self-help books, counseling, TikTok videos, Instagram? Like, what is the issue that you see stopping people from actually finding freedom?
Great question. So there are levels to that, and you can answer kind of at one level and give people this, hey, here's the fundamentals of what's going on. Then you can go to the deeper level of what's really going on. And the first thing is, why did I write the book? Why do I care about this? Because I was stuck for years. And if you've ever been in the self-improvement trap, and I don't know if you know kind of what that is, but basically it's that closed circuit loop of getting stuck and trying to work on yourself, but not really getting better, like getting the pretense of better, short-term breakthroughs, but not long-term transformation. That's the self-improvement trap. And I was there for 20 years, maybe 25 years, trying to work on, even from 11 and 12 years old, trying so hard to get better, but never arriving where I wanted to go. And so finally you come to this conclusion, I'm pursuing this in the wrong way. And when you finally get that light bulb moment of, oh my gosh, what I'm doing is not working, I need to try something else, things start to fall into place. So to answer your question, I'll try to be brief about it. The biggest thing holding people back, in my opinion, is that they didn't have a safe place with people that were present so that they could experience their genuine emotions and release them. So emotions that get harbored inside of you, they create all kinds of distortion, they come out sideways, they create confusion, they create insulation between you and other people and you and yourself. So unless you know how to navigate to those and actually release them, you're not going to get better.
So basically you'll just go to counseling and read all the books.
Oh my gosh.
And learn like head knowledge.
Or really snappy quotes, like on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can relate to that where it's like, okay, well, I know all these things. I know these things I'm supposed to do, but like, why do I still feel stuck, feel trapped? So you had shared kind of, you have found some tools to help you. What is the thing missing from the self-improvement cycle that we're all missing?
I think what we're missing is we've learned to apply tools that are isolated tools. And so we're actually trying to work on ourselves instead of uncover ourselves. So what we're doing is we're basically creating a process instead of uncovering a person. And whenever we're in process world, which is I need to fix me, we're treating ourselves like a car that needs to be fixed instead of a person that needs to be revealed. And so once you understand that, you start going, okay, well then what are the things that are holding me back? And then how can I get more in touch with who I really am? And it's not as complicated as people think. People think that they need a process. They don't. They need to understand how to get in touch with what's holding them back. And that's different. How do you do? Oh yeah, sorry.
That's a great separation of like what that is, because I feel like one of them is, you're working on a project in your head, logical, which is the whole point, is you're supposed to be feeling your emotions.
Yes.
Part of it.
Absolutely.
So how do you uncover the person?
Well, and here's the other thing. You have to think of it like you would feel in an external relationship. If you were my friend and I always treated you like a project, how do you feel? Does that build intimacy? Do you feel better? Do you feel like you're a better person?
No, I'd probably feel more broken.
Exactly.
Like, what's wrong with me?
If you're friends with me at all, right? It probably wouldn't last very long unless you were like a paid coach or something. But that's how we treat ourselves. And so when we go, wait a second, what did we need that gives us self-value and security? Self-value and security comes from present authority figures, typically in our developmental period. So when we have somebody that's present with us, that loves us, that gives us that attention, we go, oh, I'm valuable. I must matter. And so you internalize that value and it becomes security. It becomes confidence. It becomes self-understanding and self-value. And so that is basically the foundation of what's required in order for us to get to that other place. So it's not that we're wrong, that something feels off, because that's why we're working on ourselves. Something feels off. It's that we're working on it as if there's this formula to solve instead of this pollution that actually needs to get rid of. And I call it like picking the food dye out of the glass of water. It's that same thing. You're going, oh, how do I get rid of it? And you can't get rid of it. What do? You turn on the faucet. You turn on the faucet, you put it underneath for a little while, it flushes itself up. And it's the same with when you understand how to be present with other people, receive love, and receive that, and that security is basically the love flushes up what needs to be released. You don't go hunting for things, you get aligned and they naturally come up so you can release them.
So why do you feel like people are not doing that?
I don't think that they know. I actually think most people didn't have a present caretaker. So they didn't have that person that was with them. And sometimes they'll spend time with them, but they might not be emotionally present with them. And there's a huge difference between an emotionally present person that's teaching you that you are valuable. Because if we look at our parents, we go, oh, our child brain says our parents are valuable. So however they treat us, we're going to internalize and believe that about ourselves. So if we don't have that knowing, that memory knowledge, we're not going to know how to be present with ourselves. And so to answer your question, people work on themselves because they're trying to find an isolated solution for a relational problem. That's why it's the self-improvement trap. Self. You will never get healing if you're not open to intimacy and connection.
So true.
So true.
And I feel like it feels, at least for myself, it feels safer to go do that by yourself.
Exactly.
Like the self-improvement trap or self-improvement. Okay, I can go fix myself and then and then you can see me because I'll be fixed. So I think that there comes with like vulnerability and fear of probably being rejected for people seeing your mess. And so it's like, okay, I'll go fix myself. But that takes trust, that takes safe people in order to feel that in front of somebody.
Absolutely.
Who wants to look weak?
Who wants to, be vulnerable, be weak, be messy, be confused, be hurt, be in pain. If you've learned that when you're in pain, other people aren't safe with your pain, why would you ever expose it? And yet that's actually what's required for us to get healthy. And I'm not saying you do it initially, you actually learn that muscle. You even learn how to do it with yourself, and then you invite healthy and safe people in to do it with you. And just to give you the reality or the validation of what you're saying, my friends used to always make fun of me because they'd always go, oh, Blair's going off to the prayer room again. Oh, Blair's going to his office again. And what they meant was every time I felt emotion, I felt weak, I felt anxious, I would run to my little prayer room or to my counseling office and I would work, trying to figure out what was wrong and what I needed help with. And finally I realized that's not helping, that's isolating. And so, and basically it's just saying I'm not worth other people's time and attention to be safe with me. That's what my operating system was saying.
So what would you have told yourself to do then?
Work harder. So much harder.
Or like now?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm just teasing.
Okay. I was like, no.
No.
Like,
yeah, that's not it.
So what would you tell yourself now? Like, hey, instead of that, how about you?
I think that there's a couple of things. I think the first thing is understanding the difference between secondary emotions and primary emotions. Secondary emotions are what we use to hide from primary emotions because we feel scared of the intimacy involved with the vulnerability of primary emotions. But ironically, when we're in touch with primary emotions, we'll release them, which is why you can feel like crap for 3 weeks, and then you have a 10-minute cry that's connected to your gut, and you feel great. And that's because that emotion was stuck and creating pollution. So that'd be the first thing. And the second thing I would say is, learn how to receive presence. Learn how to receive presence, even if it's just with you, or even if it's with God, or with people that you know are safe. Allow them to see you and be present with you. And as soon as you start learning that, the same process happens in reverse. So the same thing that we internalize as a child, we can internalize as an adult, but we have to basically break up those ruts and create new ruts.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks. This is Sadie Such, and this is Simply Complicated.
What's a tip for somebody who's going to therapy and is in process of trying to get better? What is something that they could be aware of heading into that so that they don't get stuck in that cycle? Yeah, well, I think that's the majority of people that are in the self-improvement arena. The majority of them are actually working really hard, but not getting better. And most of us, and I'll include myself, actually don't know that. We're going through the motions thinking we're getting better, and then we're working on ourselves. And yet, if we're honest with ourselves, if we pause and go, wait a second, do I emotionally feel better? Are my relationships richer? Do I feel more confident? Do I feel more peaceful than I used to? Is my laugh rich? And a lot of times your laugh will actually kind of tell you how insulated you are, because your laugh is basically, it's a good indicator of how free you are. Or your eyes.
when you look at your eyes, do they look deep and rich and present and healthy? Or do they look scared and kind of, like there's a wall there? And that's just honest questions to ask yourself. And if you go, ugh, I'm not where I want to be, I'm not feeling how I want to feel, despite my efforts, there's a good chance you're in the trap. And the trap is nothing to be ashamed of. It is the most noble thing in the world to go to therapy, to work on yourself, to do all of the assignments and exercises that all of these people are telling you to do. But if they're keeping you stuck instead of setting you free, it's time to be honest about that.
One last thing, could you give an example of what a secondary emotion is and what the actual underlying emotion might be?
Sadie, that's why they pay you the big bucks. It's the really good questions like that. So that's brilliant. So our secondary emotions are things like overwhelmed, anxiety, confusion, frustration, powerlessness, depression, despondency, somberness, etc. So when you think about all those things, most people are trying to fight those things. They're going, oh, I feel anxious. Oh, I feel stressed. Oh, I feel overwhelmed. I feel powerless. I feel frustrated. All of those are indicators that you're stuck in a secondary space, but you're not in the space where you're in touch with the core emotion that's generating those things. Ironically, secondary emotions are white noise to try to protect you from the vulnerable emotions. So a vulnerable emotion would be like, I'm sad. I feel alone. I'm scared. Sometimes angry. I'm disappointed. Those are primary emotions. And when you connect with a primary emotion, it doesn't take long before you experience it and then you release it. But if we get stuck trying to process frustration, as an example, I'm so frustrated with my husband, we'll be frustrated for the rest of our lives. Yeah. And the reason is because frustration is actually a response to a primary emotion. Typically, we don't feel like we're going to have a safe place to feel. That's the reason we avoid our primary emotions, is we learn that it's not safe to be in touch with them, especially around other people. And if we believe that, then we stay in our secondary emotions and we stay stuck.
That's good. And it made me think when you said, you're processing frustration. I'm frustrated at them, but really it's like, actually, I feel really alone and unseen.
Yeah.
Like that's
exactly
vulnerable to be like,
much more.
Hey, let me come to you and be like, actually, hopefully you can build that safety and trust in our relationships, but that takes risk of rejection as well, to be like, hey, I'm sad. And then if somebody doesn't see you, you're like, screw you.
Yeah.
You did all this stuff to me. But
it's true. And one thing to clarify, emotions are an inside job. So a lot of times we're looking for the response of the other person in order to experience the emotion that we want to feel. But the truth is, those emotions we can feel by ourselves, even if the other person is not receptive. But the goal is to have relationships where they do become safe and receptive. And that's the ultimate. That's like, oh, we've arrived. And people can. So once you learn to do it, and hopefully you have a partner that's also working on it, then you can start interplaying with one another and enjoying the full fruit of being in touch with your emotions and being seen in them.
Yeah, that's a great point of kind of not putting that responsibility on somebody else. But also having grace for yourself on the journey. I have done the self-improvement trap, and the biggest thing is like, I just want to fix myself, instead of like, oh, you're kind of uncovering who you really are and having grace with yourself. So it's a understandable trap. And if you find yourself there, check out this guy's book on the self-improvement trap.
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks, Sadie. I'm just eating.
Okay.
Oh, bug snaps.
Sorry.
All right, we're good. Let's
really
go.
Supposed to be simple. Okay. What time is it?
We'll just do a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
we'll
great.
be done in 7 minutes.
Yeah, great. Whatever.
Something like that. All right. All right, welcome to Simply Complicated. This is the unofficial first podcast of Simply Complicated. I decided to find the most complicated human.
How? That doesn't make me okay. Yeah, I volunteered before I heard that. So now I'm excitedly frustrated about this conversation. This is going to be good. Oh, look at the camera.
Hey guys, welcome to Simply Complicated. I'm Sadie Such, and today
Blair Reynolds.
Blair Reynolds is here talking about self-improvement trap.
Thanks, Sadie. I appreciate this invitation. I didn't know where you were going to go with that, so I had to pause for a second. I'm like, is she going to say more? No, she's not. And then I'm going to talk. So yes, thank you for having me on. This is actually quite a pleasure and a privilege, so I'm grateful to be here.
Yes, thank you. We should do that again.
I hope this all gets included because this is gold. This is gold.